Okay, so first of all, the first point is that there was a UK holiday, UK bank holiday on 5th, on 2nd and 3rd June. All right, that's the first point. So we are analyzing the 2nd June. So let's mark our Asian London Open. Our London Open would be 15 minutes before, right? So I will grab the vertical line and the London Open was right over here. Okay. All right. So it is in my time zone. I will change it to your time zone, or let's keep it UTC. UTC is 7 a.m. in the morning. All right. So, all right. Then you have to mark this as London Open, right? Okay. So let's mark it as London Open.
Is it okay if you put
Sorry.
+8?
Sorry.
UTC +8.
Yes, it is UTC +5. So in UTC +8, it should be 3 p.m.
Yeah.
It's just 3-hour difference, right? So let's say UTC +8, anything. So it's 3 p.m., right? 3 p.m. And how about the overnight session high and low? So we will determine the overnight session high and low right now. Okay. So let's go back to my time zone because I am just used to this. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
okay. All right.
Understandable.
Okay. Okay. So London Open, right? And then we have overnight session high and low because the London market was, New York market closes at 12 my time, 12 p.m., 12 a.m. at night. So this is, okay, this one is the London session high and low, right? Okay, so the highest point here of overnight session high and low would be this one so far. Because here, why we didn't mark here or here? The reason is because we did not see any high, right? The price keeps on drifting upwards. So we need to mark the swing high and swing low. Remember that, okay? Got it?
Yeah.
Because here at this point, the market is ongoing, right? We cannot see any high. Yes, now after retracement of this one, we could say this is the high which we observed, but only after the retracement. Before that, we could not see any high or low, right? So let's see here. All right, so this one is overnight session high. Okay, overnight session low would be right after the close. This one here, this one was the lowest point, I guess. Right?
Okay.
Okay, okay. So overnight session low, right? Okay, let's make it bottom. Okay, now what do we observe here with this all? First of all, when we look for this over this 15-minute chart between overnight session high and low, our London Open was right over here. What do we see here? We see this huge volume here. Here, can you see huge volumes here? And then what do we see here? There's kind of accumulation, right? How do we know it's accumulation? Because if we go pre-London Open, right? Let's say if we just join this one, and sorry, if we just join these two one, right? 1 and 2 swing point, we will adjust it later. Just joining these two one, clone it. Okay, right? And what do we have? We have a slight shortening of the thrust over here. This first touch, second touch, and the third touch was higher low, right? So this was accumulation. Can we see that the price accumulated and now the price is actually, it was oversold, right? This was oversold, shortening of thrust. All right. And what do we see here? We observe the higher low, right? So yeah. So higher low HL. All right. And then just after the London Open, what do we see here? We see that the price, the volume here is very huge. Okay. And as we go down, right, the bearish volume decreases, right? So this one is actually accumulation, and this one is jump across the creek, right? Over the 15-minute time frame. Am I right?
Yeah.
JAC, or you can also call it as plus AR, right? JAC plus AR. How do we call it as JAC plus AR? I will let you. This one is, let's suppose here. Okay. Spring. Okay. This one here. And then this is JAC, the complete one. This one is higher low. This higher low is also what? This higher low is also, it also acts as LPS. Am I right? Okay. Now
Yeah.
we are in the London session. Okay. Now we are in the, sorry, now we are between the overnight session high and low. And just before London Open, like, 30 minutes before, what do we observe here? 15 minutes before, you see increase in volume. And what do we see here? The price is just increasing in volume, right? This one, we can say that this is jump across the creek. Am I right? Right or wrong?
Yep. Correct.
This one is the first jump across the creek. This one is second jump across the creek. Okay. And if you observe here, if you draw a minor channel here, what do we notice here? This one, just dotted one. This is what? This is key reversal, right? A minor spring. We call it as KR. KR means key reversal. Okay. Key reversal, we call it as minor spring or hidden spring. Okay. So if this is hidden spring, obviously, this is what? This is jump across the creek. So what is the bias before London Open? Can you tell me the bias now?
Bullish.
Bullish, correct. So this is decided already that the bias is bullish right now. Okay. So when the bias is bullish, we go to the 5-minute chart. Okay. And just before London Open, as I told you, what do we see here? Jump across the creek is observed over here. Okay. So jump across the creek, right? The London opens right over here. All right. And then what do you expect after London Open? This one here. This one here. You see here? This one here. Notice this as the price retraces back. What do we notice here? Effort versus no result. Am I right?
Yeah.
EVNR. So we can call it as, actually this one is, this EVNR is actually LPS, last point of support. Last point of support, right? So London has already opened, right? So you can either you can enter your position right over here, or you can wait for another retest. Okay, so what we can do, this one here, we can draw a minor trend line here, a small trend line, and once this price is tested again with effort versus no result, we can go long. So you can either go long here or here, but the point here is, if we go long right over here, we don't know how much the price will retrace. We have to put a stop loss here or here. That's a problem. So I would wait for the test. So this is a test of effort versus no result, right? Just right over here, this one. Now we have a clear indication. Okay, we know that this is the last low. So we can place a position right over here. Sorry. Okay, now just go to 3-minute time frame to just refine our entries more. Now, as I go to the 3-minute time frame, what do I notice here? This one, a huge effort, a huge key reversal. But the problem is, if I place my position here, the stop loss will be very wide, right? So I will avoid taking this position. I will wait again. I will wait again for another small position setup. Okay. Now, if I go to the 3-minute time frame, you can see clearly that this was effortless notice. Can you see? Can you see?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And just before it, in the 5-minute, we did not find any opportunity, right? We were waiting for the test. But here in the 3-minute chart, if we draw this line here, can you see this line? Just see this line here. This one here, because we close on the mid, this is no demand, right? And after no demand, what do we notice here? This one. Okay. And we have an effortless no result here, right? So we can just enter a position right over here, effortless no result, no demand. So we can enter a position. Our last low would be this one. Okay. And how about our position, our next target? What would be our next target? Right now, if you just go short here, you can just select your next target, right? The price will ultimately go towards this point, but the point is we cannot hold. We are not here to hold our trade this much longer. So just go for 2 hour. Okay. 2 hour, maybe this one here. So your position is here. All right. This is already 2 hour. So just because the GBP pair, now normally when the London market is open, normally when there is no UK bank holiday, the price would just drift towards your take profit level. But here it just, like it keeps on coming back and test it. It forms several, you see, this one, we have multiple trading opportunities here. If you miss this one, no worries, you can enter over here. Effort was no result. If you miss this one as well, you can enter right over here. This is what no demand. You see this second arrow, this effort was no result. This one, third arrow, this is no demand. Sorry, no supply. So you can enter a multiple position. And this one as well here, we have a key reversal. You can see the volume. The price just breaks through the last low and close above on a very, very high volume. You can see, right?
Okay.
So just what I meant to say that you have to keep your bias correct. Okay. And the second thing is, how do we know that this was actually a okay, this is jump across the creek. The second thing is, once the price is ranging over here, can you see? Okay, the price is ranging over here. Let me show you. Okay, let me go to the 5-minute chart. Okay, now the price is ranging over here, right? Now, how do we know that this is actually accumulation or distribution? Oh, sorry, reaccumulation distribution. Do you know how do we calculate?
Not sure.
Okay, this is actually jump across the creek, right? This is obviously LPS. You know this already, right?
Okay.
Okay, if this is LPS, after this, the price starts ranging. The price started ranging. Am I right? So we have another high volume. The price started ranging. Okay, now I tell you the first characteristic how this is actually. This is actually reaccumulation, not distribution, because many people will confuse it. It is distribution. It is not distribution, first of all, because of the bias, because the bias is bullish. So this can't be, if this is jump across the creek, then this can't be obviously a distribution. This has to be reaccumulation, right? The second thing is, what do we notice here? You will see the volume here on the top. This is the first one, right? This is the first one after this jump across the creek. This is the first high. On the first high, if we say that this is a selling climax, buy climax, right? So this is buying climax here. Okay. And this one is actually a selling climax. Let's suppose, because we don't have any direction, right? We don't have any oversold or overbought. Now, can you tell me which one has more volume, the buying climax or the selling climax? Which one is has more volume?
Selling climax.
Right. Okay. So this is confirmed. This is confirmed. And then after this, you see on this one as well, we have very, very high volume here. So this is confirmed that the sellers, okay, so this is confirmed, right? Okay, that what to say, that the buying has actually more power than the selling. Okay, How do you know this is okay? For example, if you just read through this market here, it has a very high volume. Can you see? Very high volume. Spread
Okay.
is good, volume is good, and where it is closing, it closes on the top. Now see this bar here, it closes where?
Around the middle.
In the middle, and see the volume here. Effort versus no result. It means what does this two bar tell you? These two bars tell you that we have increasing spread, increasing volume. So bullish power is increasing. Now we have effort versus no result. It means that this effort versus no result indicates that it's the bullish power, right? We have greater bullish power. Am I right?
Okay.
Right or wrong? This effort
Yeah,
versus
right.
result, this effort versus no result means here that the bulls are in control. Bulls have more power than the bears, right? That's why the spread is low, but the volume is very huge and close on in the middle, right? A very small, narrow range bar, right? So this is effort versus no result. And then you see no demand here. Can you see no demand on the second part here?
No demand is
Yeah.
widespread
Sorry,
and no
no
volume,
supply.
is it?
No supply. No supply. Can you see? No supply,
Okay.
right? And then you see the next part here. What happens? Key reversal. It rejects the low, close on the high, and see the volume here. All of this tells you that the bulls are in control. And then you see the next bar here. Again, effort versus no result. Can you see? Right?
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
you see this one here. Now after test here, what do we see here? Again, effort versus no result. Bullish. Again, no supply. Bullish, right? And you see one more thing. If you notice one more thing, this one is also higher low. Can you see? Can you see higher low? As compared to this low, this one is higher low.
Yeah.
Right? And once we see this, by this point, we are confirmed that this is reaccumulation. Do you understand your point?
Okay.
Okay, all right. So by this point, this is reaccumulation. So reaccumulation structure will have two things in common, right? I will tell you. Okay, first of all, accumulation number one, increasing bullish spreads and bullish spread volume. Okay, bars closing on the highs. Okay, number two, decreasing bearish spreads and volumes. Okay, decreasing bearish spreads often marked by no supply. NS means no supply. N, E, V, and R. Okay, this is for the bullish bars. This is for the bullish bars. And this is for the bearish bars. Okay. And how does decreasing bearish spreads often marked by NS and EVNR? This is what? Bars closing well of the lows or on the mids or on the highs. Do you understand? This is for bearish
Yeah.
bars. This suggests us that the bulls are more stronger than the buyers. Now you see here, I explain you here. Increasing bullish bars and volume. You see here, the spread increased, Okay, and the volume also increased. Can you see?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Okay, now the second thing, bars closing on the highs. You see bars closing on the now decreasing bearish spread. Now as we go down here, the spread, as if you compare this bar, this spread and this spread as compared to the bull spread, the spreads have decreased, right? And you see the bars are often marked by no supply and effort versus no result. This is effort versus no result, this is no supply, right? Bars closing well of the lows, the bars will not close, the bars does not close on the low, the bars close above the low, right? Or well of the lows in the mid or on the highs, right? You can see the bar does not close. Now compare this close and this close, you see, you will see, right? And as we go down, what do we see here? Effort versus no result, right? So continuously what and then, okay, okay, all right. So these are for the bearish bars. All right, and then we have
Okay.
a higher low. So this is obviously reaccumulation. Do you understand? So
Okay.
the first thing is always check the bias from the from the 15 minutes time frame. This is very important. But if you fail to identify it, then you can easily identify through the structure. Of course. Now just tell me one thing. After jump across the creek, what will happen? Will you observe reaccumulation or distribution?
You mean now?
Okay, after jump across the
The
creek, you will always experience, you will always observe reaccumulation. Okay.
okay.
Yeah. Now many people will say, right, okay, now this is the higher low. The first higher low was here, and right, people will say, okay, just let's start drawing this one, right? Okay, they will just draw like this narrow range, right? So they will say this is effort versus this is actually what to say, this is buying
Dynamic?
climax, right? Oversold and buying climax, right? Yes, it is buying climax, but if you see the situation here, if you see the entire situation here, we are coming here, we are between overnight and over session, no, and as we cross the overnight session high, we are in the jump across the creek. So the background tells you that it is actually accumulation, not distribution, right? And obviously after jump across the creek, you will always observe reaccumulation. Okay, now let me give you an example here. Now if you just draw this, okay, let me give you an example here. All right, so we have kind of bars here, right? All right, now this one here is actually jump across the creek, remember that, right? Some
Yeah.
people will some people will just draw the line right over here, okay, and they will start saying it that it's actually oversold. It is actually oversold, and then the price will just fell down, right? This is wrong. It's not oversold. It has actually jumped across the creek. So the bias is bullish. So what do I mean to say? If you observe such situation, after jump across the creek, you will often see this kind of this one, right? After jump across the creek. So this one here is actually redistribution. Remember that. Okay. Sorry, reaccumulation. After JAC. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Because if you don't understand this now you might now if you just go to the 1 minute chart, let's suppose you will see much more data on the 1 minute chart, how everything rotates. Now you will see easily. Okay. All right, you will say, okay, this is what we call it as effort versus no result, right? Let me move it. Yeah, if you go to the 1 minute chart, this is what this is one this is 1 minute chart. This is LPS, right? Now you will say, okay, this is oversold, right? You will draw your line over the 1 minute chart like this, right? Yes, over the 1 minute chart, it is a slight oversold. And it's a testing here. And after testing, the price did come down, right, to this level. The price did come down to this level. But what I mean to say, on 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 the whole, it is actually a redistribution. Sorry, reaccumulation. Okay, so this was the London session entry. And of course, this is higher low. And once the price rejects this and breaks above the high, okay, this is actually higher low. So this is selling climax. Let me remove this or it makes the chart very much. So we call it as failed buying climax, FBC. Okay. All right, failed buying climax. This is swing low. Oh, sorry, selling climax. All right. And after selling climax, what is this? Automatic rally or reaction. Automatic rally, right? Now, higher low. This is secondary test. Do you understand?
Okay.
This secondary test. Now, why do we call it that this is secondary test here? Why not this one is secondary test? For the failed buying climax, this is a secondary test. But this one is the actual secondary test because the failed buying climax here, as I told you, that it is actually jump across a creek. So this can't be redistribution. This can't be distribution. This will always be reaccumulation. Okay, so this is higher low, and you can read the bars right away, as I told you. If you read the bars over here, you see effort versus no result. The price comes down, right? This is actually increasing volume, increasing spread. The price goes down, effort versus no result, right? Effort versus no result, higher low. All this indicates that this is actually, got it?
All right.
Yeah. And now, if we, where do you observe the first high low? This is the first high low. Now, if you draw the channel right over here, okay, and if we just draw this one, right, this is the point where the price will reverse, and exactly what happened here. You can see this is the first higher low. Am I right? We can join this line and this point. Okay, as the price develops, we can readjust the point. First of all, we will draw this point, and then later on this will be adjusted to this one. Am I right? So if we join this higher low with this one, because I told you, if you want to draw an uptrend channel, okay, always start with the first higher low. Am I right? This is the starting point, right?
Yeah.
So this is the starting point. If you draw now, if you take your position here, you know where to exit. Now let's suppose if you take your position here, you exit here. If you take your second position here, you know you have to exit right over here. Stop loss right below here. So 2R, 2R, you can continuously take. You can take your third position right over here and exit on the channel stop. Fourth position, okay. All right, and finally, the price. What happened to the price here? What happened here suddenly? What do you notice? As we go up, we make less and less progress. So this is what? This is shortening of the thrust, SOT. Okay. This is SOT.
Okay.
All right. This is SOT. SOT. This is test of SOT. All right. So SOT can be also known as what we can also call it as buying climax. Okay. This is AR. Okay. This is AR. This is secondary test here. And what do we notice here on the secondary test here? Secondary test. Secondary test also has what? Lower high. Can you see lower high?
Yeah.
Lower high. And then what do we notice here? No demand. Did you notice no demand?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Where did it go?
Widespread and low volume, right?
Yeah, yes. Correct. Low spread, low volume. Low spread, low
Low
volume. No,
spread, low
yeah,
volume.
yeah. So this is no demand.
No supply is also same thing.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
spread, no volume.
But no supply is to the downside. It's actually the bearish bar, and no demand is the bullish bar. Got it? That's the difference. But they're exactly same. So you can enter your position right over here. Okay, your stop loss would go right over here, right? And your exit would be, I suggest 2R, just take 2R and get out of the trade. And as we go down, as we notice the first higher low right over here, if we join these two trend channel, right? If you join this two one, and if you draw a channel one from here, what do we notice here? What do we notice here?
Selling climax.
Yes, oversold and selling climax.
Sorry, it's oversold.
Oversold and selling climax. Am I right?
Yeah.
Plus selling climax. Now you notice one thing, right? As I told you, this was actually this one, right? This, what was this actually? Now this was actually the failed buying climax line. If we extend this line here, can you see? This selling climax comes exactly at this point, right? To the last high, right?
Okay.
Okay. So this is what? This is selling climax plus oversold. Okay. This is what? Automatic reaction. This is what? Secondary test, right? Secondary test plus hidden spring. Am I right? This one. And this is also effort versus no result. You take your position right over here. Your channel is to the top. You can see your top one, this one channel. You can just target the last high here, and you can make 2.28. Now, as we target this channel here, this now we have this broader channel here. So what was this actually? Over bought. Am I right? Plus buying climax. Right?
Yes.
Overbought plus buying climax. And as we continue to draw this channel here, we did not get any entry opportunity and we break through it. This one is what? This one is actually JAC, jump across the creek, plus AR of this channel. Am I right? Automatic reaction of this channel. This is JAC of this channel, this uptrend channel JAC, and automatic reaction of this buying climax, right? This one is what?
Isn't that FTI?
Sorry?
Is it not FTI?
Oh, sorry, it's FTI. Sorry. Yes, FTI, correct. All right, FTI and plus AR. Okay. And
Yeah,
what do we
right.
notice here? All right. So this one actually is a test here. We just draw this. So this is, what do we say this one? Lower high. Am I right? The first lower high. So this is secondary test. This lower high will also be known as secondary test. Am I right? And I told you, remember, whenever you observe the lower high plus secondary test, you draw a small line from the high of this. And what do we notice here? We just draw this line here on the top of this. And what do we notice here? This one.
Upthrust.
Hidden upthrust. A small hidden upthrust, right? HUT. We call it as HUT, means hidden upthrust. Does it make sense now? So you just take your position. Your last high was which one? This one is last high. Okay, just position yourself in this one, right? Take your stop loss right over here on this on this channel high, which is this one. This is your stop loss. Your this one and entry position. And my minimum target would be this one actually. So I will just go for the last 2R. That's it. Finish it. Okay. So how many trades did we take since London session? 1, 2 trades in the London session. And then during New York session, we got 3 to 4 trades. Got it? And as you know, one more thing, as you know, now we observe the higher low. We observe the higher low as I told you here? This one was higher low, right? Higher low. After this buying climax, sorry, lower high. Lower high. After this buying climax, this was the lower high. So we can draw a channel right over here. This one. Let me join it. This is again a small oversold of this one, right? And then what do we notice here? Oversold, okay, jump across the creek, okay, selling climax, jump across the creek, and this one is test. This one is the second opportunity to go long. Am I right? There's a stop loss right over here, and you can target, ultimately you can target here, but I will just suggest you go and target 2 hour. That's it. So I have to close this webinar and I have to do it again. Okay, so I'm calling you again. Hold on. Hello.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Alright.
I have to do it again because less than 1 minute. Okay, so let me do it
Yeah,
again.
sure.